Hello, my name is Oliver Sapp, and my major issue is the lack of worker training in Ohio. As someone who lives in Ohio and is searching for employment, this is something I and many others need to be aware of. Now for a bit of starting statistics drawn from an Ohio skills mismatch diagram. As you can see, the first graph is showing the jobs divided into their respective education levels. A majority of jobs, 54%, require skills training beyond high school, 15%, and not a 4-year degree, 31%. Whereas the workers' education for both 4-year degrees and high school are higher than the percent of jobs that require that education level, there are roughly 8% more jobs than there are workers with proper skills training to fill in demand jobs. A team at Inkling will help me to describe some of the countless things that can lead to a lack of worker training. Limited access to training programs. Many employees find themselves in workplaces where training opportunities are scarce or, in some cases, entirely absent. This leaves them without the tools and knowledge necessary to excel in their roles. Outdated training content. Even when training programs do exist, they may suffer from outdated content that does not align with the evolving needs of the workforce and industry standards. Insufficient onboarding. Proper onboarding is crucial for new hires to integrate into the organization seamlessly. However, some companies provide minimal and ineffective onboarding, leaving employees feeling lost and disconnected from the company's culture and objectives. Failure to invest in professional development. A lack of commitment to employee development can lead to stagnant and disengagement. When employees feel that their growth and skill development are not a priority, they may become disheartened and unproductive. Nell Hendy and Meddy Jones helped me put together a list of only a few of the many risks and possible consequences that can result from a lack of worker training. Unsafe work environment. Without the proper training, employees are much more likely to make mistakes, which could lead to accidents. Unhappy and unsatisfied employees. Repeated accidents or a mixed bag of ways to do the job due to not being trained how to properly do it could lead to low morale and conflict between each other. Reduced productivity. Having to constantly redo or clean up after a messed up project will put things behind. Everyone needs to be on the same page for things to run smoothly. High employee turnover. If people feel unsafe and unsupported in the workplace, then they are much more likely to resign to search for different employment. Compliance and legal issues. Reports of unsafe working conditions due to a lack of training will make people hesitant to do a job, and should they be injured, it could lead to a lot of legal hassle for employers. Knowledge gaps. If employees don't have the same past work experience, there can be large gaps in their abilities compared to their coworkers without proper training. Increased business costs. The costs to constantly clean up after mistakes and deal with legal issues can do some serious damage to a company's funds. Just like how there are multiple things that can lead to a lack of worker training, I have multiple possible solutions, two from outside sources and one of my own. This first one was proposed by John H. Bishop. Bishop is suggesting that the U.S. would improve if they adapted France's approach to fund training, since they claim underinvestment is one of the biggest reasons for lack of worker training. The mandate would have to be adjusted a bit first, of course, because the two countries have very different ways of running things. However, this idea would require one of two things. Either all employees pay a minimum percentage of their wage toward financing, training, or those that oppose have to pay a special tax. This suggestion would assure that companies can afford training materials. The next possible solution is from Polymer, Madeline, and Denise R. Simmons. This group is focusing on specifically how to improve worker training in a construction type setting. They have used visualization technology to train people working in construction jobs, jobs that, if done incorrectly, could result in horrible injuries, costly destruction, or even death. The participants voiced that they prefer this training method because it let them participate in the training itself, kept them highly engaged, could be done on various different types of technology, and gave them a positive outlook on safety behavior. However, they were also asked to list some possible challenges with this type of training, to which they said it was more costly than other training methods. It cannot be accessed by every organization due to the previous reason. It may be looked down upon by older workers because it goes against what they are used to in their industry culture, and the fact that technology is naturally only as good as the people that designed it. Finally, a suggestion of my own thoughts on the matter of lack of worker training in Ohio. I already know that there is required training for every job in existence, but sadly, this training is actually very rarely enforced. My idea is that there be a specific department brought up in each company whose only job is to make sure that employees have been properly trained and that their training is up to date. We have done tests and pop quizzes for at least 12 years of our lives already. Why not take another every 6 months or so just to maintain a safe and productive work environment? It will help to reiterate the importance of the training occasionally so people don't slack off. I hope this PowerPoint helped you better understand how important worker training is and how devastating it can be if it isn't taken seriously. I know it has for me. Please take these suggestions and the information from this slideshow into consideration as you go about your lives at work. This is my works cited page and all the wonderful individuals that assisted in the development of this slideshow.